Imagine waking up 5 years from now and realizing that everything you worked for is outdated. Your degree, your experience, your comfort zone relevant, not because you weren't smart, not because you didn't work hard, but because you mastered the wrong things. Right now, the world isn't changing slowly, it's accelerating. Technologies are learning faster than humans. Systems are improving without permission. Entire industries are being rewritten while most people are still debating whether change is coming at all. And in the middle of all this noise, one skill quietly decides who rises and who disappears. This is not a technical skill. It's not coding, it's not finance, it's not even intelligence in the way we usually define it. This is the skill that allows some people to walk into uncertainty and see opportunity while others freeze. It's the reason a small group keeps adapting, reinventing, and staying ahead, no matter how many times the rules change. The truth is, the future doesn't belong to the strongest or the smartest. It belongs to those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn faster than the world changes around them. Most people cling to what worked yesterday. They defend old identities. They resist new tools. And that resistance quietly makes them irrelevant. The people who win are different. They stay curious when others get defensive. They experiment when others complain. They ask better questions instead of demanding old answers. When something new appears, they don't say, "This will never work." They ask, "How do I use this?" Tonight, I want to talk to you about that skill, the one ability that compounds over time, the one habit that turns chaos into leverage, the one mindset that future-proofs your career, your business, and your life. Because in the age we're entering, the biggest risk isn't failure. The biggest risk is staying the same. The future does not slow down for anyone. It does not wait for permission, and it does not care how successful you were yesterday. History proves this again and again. The people and companies that dominate one decade often struggle or disappear in the next, not because they lost intelligence or effort, but because they failed to adapt fast enough. The future rewards those who adapt quickly, while those who cling to past success slowly fall behind. Think about companies that once seemed untouchable. Kodak invented the digital camera, yet it collapsed because it protected its film business instead of embracing change. Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix and laughed it off, confident that physical stores would always win. Nokia ruled the mobile phone world, but when smartphones changed what people expected from a device, the company reacted too late. These were not foolish organizations. They were led by smart people. Their real mistake was believing that what made them successful would keep them successful forever. The same pattern plays out in individual careers. A person masters a skill, builds a reputation, and starts earning respect. Over time, that success becomes a comfort zone, new tools appear, new methods emerge, and younger people enter the field with different approaches. Instead of learning, many experienced professionals dismiss these changes. They say things like, "This is just a trend," or "I've been doing this for 20 years. What they don't realize is that experience can turn into a trap when it stops evolving. In fast-changing industries, adaptability is a form of survival. A software developer who learned one programming language 10 years ago and never updated their skills is no longer competitive. A marketer who relies only on old advertising methods struggles in a world driven by data and algorithms. Even doctors, teachers, and business owners now face constant change due to new technologies and shifting expectations. The future does not reward how long you have been doing something. It rewards how fast you can adjust when the rules change. Adaptability is not about constantly chasing every new trend. It is about building the ability to learn quickly, test ideas, and let go of what no longer works. People who adapt well are not afraid of being beginners again. They are willing to look inexperienced in the short term to stay relevant in the long term. They ask questions, seek feedback, and experiment while others wait for certainty. Look at individuals who thrive during disruption. When new technology appears, they don't panic or complain. They explore it. They ask how it might improve their work or open new opportunities. When their role changes or disappears, they don't see it as the end. They see it as a signal to evolve. This mindset turns uncertainty into an advantage rather than a threat. Clinging to past success is tempting because it feels safe. Your past achievements validate your identity and effort. But the future does not run on nostalgia. Skills expire, strategies stop working, titles lose meaning. The moment you rely on yesterday's wins to protect you tomorrow, you start falling behind. The people who stay ahead treat change as a constant, not a surprise. They understand that success is temporary unless it is continually renewed. They don't ask how to preserve the old system. They ask how to become valuable in the next one. In the end, adaptability is not just a professional advantage. It is a mindset for life. It keeps you relevant, resilient, and ready. The future will always reward those who move with it, learn from it, and shape it while quietly leaving behind those who refuse to change. In a world that changes faster every year, the most valuable ability you can develop is not mastering a single skill, but learning how to learn quickly. Learning speed has become more important than any specific skill you hold today because skills have an expiration date. What is valuable now may be average tomorrow and irrelevant a few years from now. The people who thrive are not those who know the most at one moment in time, but those who can absorb new knowledge, adapt, and apply it faster than others. In the past, learning followed a predictable pattern. You went to school, earned a degree, and expected that knowledge to carry you through most of your career. Today, that model is broken. Technology, automation, and global competition constantly reshape industries. New tools appear before people fully understand the old ones. If your learning process is slow, you fall behind no matter how strong your past education was. Consider the rise of artificial intelligence. Someone who learned basic data analysis 5 years ago may now feel overwhelmed by advanced tools that automate much of that work. But a person who knows how to learn quickly can adapt. They don't panic when new software appears. They read documentation, watch tutorials, test features, and ask questions. Within weeks or months, they are productive again. Their advantage is not intelligence alone, but speed. Learning speed also changes how people approach uncertainty. When you trust your ability to learn, the future becomes less frightening. You no longer need to predict exactly which skill will matter in 10 years. Instead, you focus on building the ability to acquire whatever skill becomes necessary. This creates confidence and flexibility in a world where certainty is rare. Fast learners share common habits. They break complex topics into smaller parts instead of trying to understand everything at once. They learn by doing, not just by consuming information. They accept confusion as part of the process rather than a sign of failure. Most importantly, they move before they feel fully ready. While others wait for the perfect course or complete clarity, fast learners start with what they have and improve along the way. Real-world examples show this clearly. Entrepreneurs often enter industries they did not originally understand. Their success depends on how quickly they can learn customer behavior, market dynamics, and operational details. Employees who switch careers successfully do the same. They may lack experience at first, but their ability to learn fast allows them to catch up and eventually outperform those who rely only on years of experience. On the other hand, people who depend on a single skill often struggle when demand shifts. A factory worker whose job becomes automated or a professional whose work is replaced by software may feel lost if they have not practiced learning new skills. The problem is not a lack of effort or intelligence. It is a lack of learning agility. Learning speed is also a competitive advantage because it compounds over time. Each new skill becomes easier to learn because you understand your own learning process better. You know how to research, practice, and improve efficiently. Over years, this creates a widening gap between those who adapt quickly and those who move slowly. Importantly, learning fast does not mean learning everything. It means learning what matters when it matters. It means being selective, curious, and focused. The future will always favor people who can update themselves as the world updates around them. In the end, no single skill can guarantee long-term success. The only reliable advantage is the ability to learn faster and change itself. In the modern world, curiosity has become more valuable than credentials. Degrees, certificates, and titles once served as reliable signals of competence, but today they are only starting points. The pace of change has weakened their power. What truly separates people now is not what they have studied in the past, but how deeply and consistently they are willing to ask questions, explore new ideas, and challenge what they already know. Credentials represent completed learning. Curiosity represents ongoing learning. This difference matters more than ever, because industries no longer stay stable long enough for static knowledge to remain valuable. A degree earned 10 years ago may no longer reflect current tools, methods, or realities. Meanwhile, a curious person without impressive credentials can rapidly close the gap by learning what is relevant right now. Many successful people did not follow traditional paths. They asked questions others ignored. They explored problems instead of waiting for instructions. They learned by experimenting, failing, and improving. Curiosity pushed them forward when formal systems moved too slowly. This is why startups often outperform established organizations. They question assumptions, test ideas quickly, and adapt based on what they discover, while larger institutions rely heavily on past authority and rigid processes. In workplaces, curious employees stand out. When a new tool is introduced, they don't complain or resist. They explore it. They ask how it works, what it can improve, and where it might fail. They look for connections between different fields. Over time, they become problem solvers rather than task followers. Managers notice this not because of their certificates, but because of their impact. Curiosity also protects people from becoming obsolete. When someone relies solely on credentials, they often defend their expertise instead of updating it. They may feel threatened by new ideas that challenge what they already know. This defensive mindset slows learning. Curious people respond differently. They see new information as an opportunity, not an attack. They are willing to say, "I don't know yet," which is a powerful starting point for growth. Consider how technology reshapes roles. A person with a formal background in marketing might struggle if they never explore new platforms or data-driven strategies. Meanwhile, someone without a marketing degree but with deep curiosity about audience behavior, analytics, and content trends can quickly become effective. Their edge comes from asking better questions and continuously learning, not from a framed certificate. Curiosity also fuels innovation. Breakthrough ideas rarely come from following instructions exactly as written. They emerge when someone wonders, what if this could be done differently? Or why does this problem exist at all? These questions open doors that credentials alone cannot. Organizations that encourage curiosity tend to evolve, while those that prioritize hierarchy and titles often stagnate. Importantly, curiosity is not random. It is focused and intentional. Curious people seek understanding, not just information. They dig deeper instead of stopping at surface-level answers. They connect ideas across disciplines, which allows them to see patterns others miss. This ability becomes increasingly valuable as problems grow more complex and interconnected. In a rapidly changing world, credentials can open the first door, but curiosity determines how far you go after that. The future belongs to those who keep learning, questioning, and exploring long after formal education ends. Curiosity keeps skills fresh, minds flexible, and opportunities visible. When everything else becomes outdated, curiosity remains a renewable advantage. Uncertainty makes most people uncomfortable. When outcomes are unclear and rules are changing, the natural reaction is fear, hesitation, or the desire to wait until things feel safe again. But in the world we live in today, uncertainty is not a temporary phase. It is a permanent condition. Those who learn to stay calm and effective in uncertainty gain a powerful advantage over those who need clarity before they act. In stable environments, success comes from following proven paths. You study, you train, you apply, and you advance step by step. But when industries are disrupted and technologies evolve rapidly, those paths disappear. Waiting for certainty becomes a losing strategy. By the time everything is clear, the opportunity is often gone. People who can move forward without complete information are the ones who shape the future instead of reacting to it. Comfort with uncertainty does not mean being reckless or careless. It means accepting that you will never have all the answers before you begin. It means making the best decision with the information available and adjusting as you learn more. This mindset allows faster progress because learning happens through action, not endless planning. Entrepreneurs live in uncertainty by default. When they launch a product or start a company, they rarely know exactly how the market will respond. There is no guarantee of success, no clear map to follow. Those who succeed are not the ones who eliminate risk completely, but the ones who test ideas quickly, listen to feedback, and adapt. They treat uncertainty as data, not danger. The same principle applies to careers. Many people stay in unfulfilling or declining roles because they fear the unknown more than stagnation. They wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, or complete confidence. Meanwhile, those who are comfortable with uncertainty explore new paths, learn new skills, and make transitions even when the outcome is not guaranteed. Over time, this willingness to step into the unknown creates growth and resilience. Technological change amplifies this advantage. New tools often appear before best practices are established. Early adopters face confusion and mistakes, but they also gain experience and insight that late adopters cannot easily replicate. Those who avoid uncertainty miss the chance to learn while the field is still open. When clarity finally arrives, the leaders are already far ahead. Comfort with uncertainty also strengthens decision-making. Instead of seeking perfect answers, people focus on probabilities and learning loops. They ask, what is the next small step, rather than what is the final solution? This reduces paralysis and encourages momentum. Each step provides feedback, which reduces uncertainty over time. Psychologically, this mindset builds confidence. When you prove to yourself that you can survive and adapt without certainty, fear loses its power. You stop seeing change as a threat and start seeing it as a space for growth. This emotional resilience becomes a critical skill in high-pressure environments. Those who demand certainty often protect short-term comfort at the cost of long-term opportunity. They avoid risk, delay decisions, and miss windows of change. Those who embrace uncertainty gain flexibility, speed, and insight. They learn faster because they are willing to act before everything is clear. In a world where change is constant, Comfort with uncertainty is not a weakness. It is a competitive advantage that allows people to move first, learn faster, and grow stronger while others are still waiting for clarity. The ability to unlearn outdated beliefs is one of the most difficult yet most powerful skills a person can develop. Learning something new is hard, but unlearning what once worked can be even harder because it challenges identity, pride, and past success. Yet in a rapidly changing world, long-term relevance depends less on what you know and more on what you are willing to let go of. Outdated beliefs often form during periods of success. When a strategy, habit, or way of thinking produces results, it becomes reinforced. Over time, it turns into a rule in the mind. The problem is that the environment that rewarded that belief may no longer exist. What once guaranteed success can quietly become a limitation, but many people continue to defend it because it feels safe and familiar. History is full of examples where failure to unlearn led to decline. Businesses that believed customers would never change their behavior resisted innovation until it was too late. Professionals who believed their expertise was permanent stopped updating their skills. Entire industries collapsed not because they lacked knowledge, but because they could not release old assumptions. On an individual level, outdated beliefs often sound reasonable. Ideas like, this is how it's always been done, I'm not a tech person, or I'm too late to start something new, feel true because they are repeated over time. But these beliefs shape decisions and limit action. When people stop questioning them, growth slows. Unlearning begins with awareness. It requires the courage to ask whether a belief is still useful, not whether it was once correct. A belief can be accurate in the past and harmful in the present. Recognizing this difference is essential. People who stay relevant regularly audit their thinking. They ask what assumptions they are operating under and whether those assumptions still match reality. Examples of successful unlearning appear everywhere. Professionals who transition into new careers often begin by letting go of rigid identities. A person who spent years in one field must release the belief that their value is tied only to that role. This mental shift allows them to learn new skills and see opportunities that were previously invisible. Unlearning also plays a critical role in leadership. Leaders who insist on old methods often stifle innovation. Those who admit they may be wrong create space for progress. When leaders model unlearning, teams feel safer experimenting and adapting. This cultural flexibility becomes a major advantage in fast-changing environments. The process of unlearning can be uncomfortable. It involves admitting uncertainty and sometimes acknowledging mistakes. But discomfort is a sign of growth, not failure. People who avoid this discomfort protect their ego at the expense of relevance. Those who embrace it build resilience and adaptability. Importantly, unlearning does not mean abandoning all past experience. It means updating it. Experience becomes powerful when it is combined with openness. Past knowledge provides context, but it should not dictate the future. The goal is to use experience as a foundation, not a prison. As change accelerates, the half-life of beliefs continues to shrink. Ideas that once lasted decades may now expire in years or even months. The people who remain effective are those who regularly refresh their thinking. They replace outdated beliefs with better ones based on current evidence and evolving reality. In the long run, relevance belongs to those who can let go of what no longer serves them. The ability to unlearn is not about weakness or forgetting the past. It is about choosing growth over comfort and staying aligned with a world that never stops changing. If there is one truth to carry forward from everything you've heard, it is this: the future is not something to fear, and it is not something reserved for a lucky few. It is something that responds to how willing you are to grow. The world will continue to change faster than any plan you make today, but that does not mean you are powerless. It means you are invited to evolve. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to predict every shift or master every tool. What you need is the ability to adapt, to learn faster than change, to stay curious when things feel unfamiliar, to move forward even when the path is unclear, and to let go of beliefs that no longer fit the world you're living in. These are not talents you are born with. They are skills you can practice, starting now. Every moment of uncertainty is also a moment of opportunity. Every time you feel uncomfortable learning something new, you are expanding your future options. Every time you question an old assumption, you make room for a better one. This is how progress happens quietly and consistently, not through sudden breakthroughs, but through daily willingness to improve. The most encouraging part is this: the skills that matter most going forward are human skills. Curiosity, adaptability, learning speed, and openness are available to anyone, at any age, from any background. You are never too late to start learning. You are never too experienced to change. And you are never stuck unless you decide to be. Instead of asking whether the future will replace you, ask how you can grow with it. Instead of protecting who you were, invest in who you are becoming. The world doesn't need perfect people with perfect plans. It needs people who are flexible, thoughtful, and brave enough to keep learning. If you carry that mindset with you, the future becomes something you can shape, not something that happens to you. And that is a hopeful ending because it means your relevance, your growth, and your success are still very much in your hands.